throughout the week, and actually throughout the last couple of years, I've been using the Classholes YouTube page to troll 9/11 conspiracy theorists. When I should probably go ahead.
Tell the folks why you've been using the Classholes YouTube channel to troll 9/11 conspiracy theorists.
Because my original one got banned.
Okay, why?
They didn't say.
But wasn't it because you were trolling 9/11 conspiracy theorists?
Exactly, yes. But I was probably using this time. I was probably insulting them. This time around, I make 100% certain to not use, insulting terms. I really should stop if I give a fuck about our page in general, because someone's going to report us, and then all these goddamn videos I've put up are going to just go to waste.
I just figured you should stop because you might save yourself a lot of psychological damage
right.
as you get into your aged self.
I was going to say
happy birthday, by the way.
No, next week. I got 1 week.
Oh, fuck your birthday then.
I got one more week to troll.
I was like, is it today? I didn't think it was today.
No. 1 more week. But I was so there was someone who decided to hop in on a comment thread who then started referring to me as bald. So I can only think that she hopped on our channel and assumes that I'm you. I tried to say, hey, look, I'm Fox Man, but I don't know if you're watching the show. I don't know if you how intently you're checking out our videos.
Well, okay, come on. I need it. Spoon me my medicine. Give me that castor oil. So what was she saying? Go ahead. What was the description?
It just said something like "bald loser," and then I tried to explain to her that there's 3 of us. That's my co-host. I'm not that one, and then I tried to say, I said, "You're dumb enough to think that's offensive, but thank you, appreciate it, yada yada," and that was it. So, and then she still didn't get it. She just continued to say it. She continued to throw that out there.
Wow. Man, I mean, I thought body shaming was over. This is exactly what I've been talking about. You guys seem to just brush this all to the side, but baldness is the last thing. It's the last thing that people can just use as ammo to try to degrade somebody. And I don't care. I don't appreciate it, but I also don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have brought that to your attention or put this, spelled that out on the podcast if I didn't think you'd, 1, care, or 2, couldn't handle it. But I know that, well, tell the story. It has nothing to do
I'm
with
a little
you.
more offended by the fact that whatever asinine retorts you were going back and forth with this person is they automatically assumed it was me. It just makes me feel like they think I'm dumber than I am. That's an insult to you, by the way.
That's what I was getting at. That They obviously clicked on our channel. They obviously watched at least a bit to understand that there's 3 people. And she immediately said, that's the dickhead who trolls. That's got to be the asshole who goes to these pages and yeah.
That's fair. I was going to say, that was the assumption. Like, she looked at the 3 of us and it was like, it's definitely that guy. Mm-hmm. That fucking guy.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm proud to give off that energy. I probably use social media less than anybody on this show.
Probably
That's
true.
the greatest part of it.
Probably true. Probably true. I think that, other than, some little, I see you with the fam every now and then, and most of the time that's the wife tagging you. But you every now and then, if you're with William, and you'll throw up a little something. And then for the podcast, that's,
yeah, but but I don't comment. I do not. I refuse to post on any, I don't post any political things. I don't comment about the world in any capacity anymore. I gave that up. I feel like I'm better for it. But then when I got some stupid bitch just assuming that it's me, it makes me want to get back in the game. It's like I might as well defend myself if people are attacking me without even firing a shot.
Yeah.
That seems unfair.
And the other thing that I want to bring up, this person didn't, and I like how you dumb bitch. I'm not going to stoop that low, by the way. I do enjoy how you can click on the icon and you can go to our page and you can see, and I've done at least, so I'm somewhat biased. I think I've done a pretty good job of cataloging the videos. You can go and see these videos on our page. And immediately, if I just get under someone's skin, they say, "Oh, you're a paid troll. The government's paying you." Like what gives off that vibe? You can go and look and see. And then this is what gets them. I say, I'm a nobody, just like you. I'm a nobody. I'm somebody, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost got involved in a conversation. Oh man, I almost want to look up. They basically, Joe Rogan just had a guy on, a professor. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bitch with some things.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was talking about like trauma, addiction, anxiety. And he actually said something that started to make me tear up because it was so profound. And a buddy of mine said, hey, if you guys haven't checked out this episode, you should really give it a listen. And someone jumps on. It's like, I was fully aware that you were, that you listened to some toxic people, but I can't believe that you would post that you would listen to such a toxic man like Joe Rogan. I have to assume that this professor is toxic as well. And I'm just like, you psychotic cunt.
Who said this?
That's so weird.
Just some chick that commented on my buddy's page saying everybody should listen to this episode if they've experienced any trauma, or if they have anxiety, or if they've had addiction. It's a very enlightening and calming episode to hear that that you're not broken, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And this chick just comes straight in like, well, I guess I'll never be listening to this since these are two toxic men, obviously. And I'm just like, I just wanted to eviscerate her. Like, he even said, like, I've never listened to Rogan since he's so obviously radioactive and toxic. Like, so wait a minute. You have no idea what the man talks about, yet you've already, like, labeled him in such a way.
This is, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I think Alan leans a little more left. I lean down the middle. Murr, you lean a little more right. And when I see and or hear things like this, I immediately go, you got the dumb conservatives, and then you got the whiny liberals. Someone who obviously made this assumption or thought up this idea after he had some controversial guests on during a very controversial time, aka COVID. But come on, you can't sabotage the body of work and what the man's done. It's a good show. It's not for everyone, but hell, man, I don't listen to the show in its entirety. But there's some great bits. There's some great clips. There's some small things. There's some good interviews. And to sit there and be like, toxic men. Shut up. Jesus. Why don't you go put some butter, some fucking margarine on that bread and eat it?
It's like scripted. You know what I mean? It's like both sides have scripts. Like both sides of like they have these weird scripts where like, like toxic or something like that is one. And then like, I don't know. It's just very strange to me. Like, I think now you can start to kind of pick them out of my eye. But like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I mean, I think Rogan's kind of a buffoon, but that's neither here nor there. He gets people on there who are educated and who do fucking like talk about interesting shit, and his buffoonness kind of works in his favor for the platform because he brings out information and asks questions and shit that fucking yield interesting answers. So yeah, the show's not all terrible. It just it got into the weeds when everything was in the weeds with politics and fucking COVID and everything else, and so people obviously attributed a negative connotation to it. But
if he gets,
people are dumb.
If he gets like a band on there or a fellow comedian or someone that like those are toxic people. No, he's not. Chris, he had Jake Roberts on there once. I mean, Jake the Snake, the fucking DDT specialist. Yeah, that's so toxic.
He's a pretty toxic guy. But
Yeah, I was going to say, actually,
I don't know that's your choice.
If you were to get a fucking like rad meter out, I can tell you that Jake the Snake, given his fucking body of work outside the ring, that thing's going to be much more than it's going to be around Joe Rogan. Like, that's a guy. I mean, we're talking like doing meth, like between shows, during shows.
Oh, wait, I thought he was just a drunk. Was he a meth user too?
He was a little bit of everything, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he got down.
Yeah, good time.
There was a really good.
Generally speaking.
About 5 or 6 years ago, I took a trip with probably 50 people down to Jacksonville for a Ravens game. And this is when you could rent out, where the stadium is in Jacksonville, they have like front row of the upper deck. It's a little bit different. It's tough to explain, but they have these pools sitting in the corner that have these like kind of your own secluded picnic areas, and you rent these out as a group. And you're literally in a pool watching a football game. So I paid
cool.
for that. Yeah, and the Ravens were there. And after the game, what it ended, like 4:30, they put on the 4:30 games on the Jumbotron, and those people who were in those pools could stay there and drink for free until like 6 or 6:30. So it's like the stadium emptied, and you're still there drinking and partying. And in between, like there was this walkway between pools, on opposite corners. And I was telling one of the guys I was with, I was like, if I were to say to you guys, Tony Baselli, do you know who that is?
I feel like I do, but I have no context on who the man is. The name sounds familiar.
Hall of Fame left tackle for Jacksonville. He came up.
Don't know who that is.
Okay, he came up with Jonathan Ogden same year, and those two were kind of parallel in terms of like the best left tackles in football from like the mid '90s all through like the mid 2000s. I told a guy that we were with, I said, "Hey, Tony Baselli and Jake the Snake Roberts are over there doing autographs," and he went, "Jake the Snake, Jake Roberts." So, just goes to show you name recognition.
Sure, name recognition. Jake the Snake. Again, if I told Jake the Snake "fuck you" and he turned around like Bret Hart and gave me the look of shame, then yeah, my soul would wilt. Doesn't mean the man didn't bang hookers in a parking lot of a Waffle House at 3 a.m. after doing a line of crystal meth off a fucking pancake tray. I'm not saying that those two things can't be true at once. Still idolize the guy. The DDT was the most simple yet vicious maneuver in all of professional wrestling. It was kind of like the precursor to like the Stone Cold Stunner and all that stuff. It's a beautiful, simple move.
Right.
God. Yeah. What does DDT stand for, by the way, Wes?
Oof. Man, I don't know. And it's weird because two of my most underrated wrestlers of all time, Arn Anderson and Jake Roberts, had that as a finishing move. So, and I don't know what DDT stands for or stood for. Alan?
Nah, I have no idea. I don't know. What's it stand for?
I was kind of
bluffing. You were hoping.
All right, internet. There we go.
I don't think it stands for anything.
I thought it meant like downward death tackle or something bullshit like that.
Dome destroyer technique.
Hold on. Rumors abound. Letters do. Okay. What for including? Okay, so there's a bunch of like ones like that. Fucking Damien's dinner time after Jake's pet python. Damien.
Ooh,
fucking.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All types of fucking just really bad, like alliterative D. Fucking like fucking drape drop takedown, drop downtown. Like it's like somebody was sitting in a room and was like, we're just thinking of D words and T words, and that's fucking it. And we're throwing them together.
You know what?
So no official answer. Actually, when asked what DDT meant, Jake once famously replied, "The end." That was it.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. But you know what it is? They probably sat around the table all night doing coke. They came up with 100 different names, and they all started with a D, and a T. And they were like, "Fuck, I can't remember. It's called DDT, man." Can you imagine this? One of the most famous wrestling moves of all time is 3 initials, and no one knows what they mean, and no one's questioned it.
Yeah, Damien's dinner time is wonderful, and you're right. No one has questioned it. No one has said like that. That stands for something. What are we doing? Christ, man, we should have been writing for these shows years ago. Yeah, man. There's actually a really good like make this a fucking Jake Roberts. There's actually 2 really good. Early on, he got into a feud with Ricky Steamboat, and he was supposed to DDT him on concrete. And he said, I don't know how I feel about that. And Steamboat's like, "No, I'll slip out at the last second. Don't worry." And he didn't, and knocked him out. And there's actually, and Jake Roberts picks him up, limp body and all, throws him in the ring, and starts yelling at people like, "You told me to do this." Then later on down the road, he was supposed to. It was recorded but not aired, and he was supposed to attack. He attacked Hogan and DDT'd him to set up a feud where he was going to be the bad guy, but the crowd cheered. Because at that point, people started rallying behind Jake Roberts and started getting sick of the whole like Hulk Hogan shebang. and Vince scrapped the idea. It was like, no, like Hogan's my cash cow. I'm not going to have people cheering. People need to despise the bad guy. Sorry. And Jake was like, damn, I lost out on a lot of money. Lost out on a good, I would have taken an ass kicking for that kind of loot.
Yeah. It does make me wonder, like, what kind, I don't know. Did Hogan, couldn't they have made just as much money with Hulk Hogan, like having him lose every now and again? Wasn't he the champion for like 5 years straight or some shit?
Yeah, something like that. Something from like 84 to 89. Yeah.
I mean, because it did make the Intercontinental Championship much more exciting because it's like, wow, there's no chance of winning the other belt, so we might as well have all these contenders for this one. Because then you had Jake Roberts, Honky Tonk Man, you had Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude,
Bret
all
Hart,
those guys.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper, Big Boss Man, all trying for the second tier belt because they were never going to give away the fucking world championship.
They were going to beat the snot out of him for 20 minutes, and then Hogan was going to snap out of it, after the finishing move. And he's going to shake around.
looking like a guy who had a kid in 8th grade for his entire life.
Looking like Lenny from Mice and Men. Just fucking shake. Nope. That don't hurt.
Nothing you did to me accumulated any kind of damage to my body.
I actually was joking around with a couple buddies of mine who are much bigger wrestling fans than I was and am now. And that's saying something, especially back around that time. But I always joked around about Hogan's leg drop. All right. It's like, the atomic leg drop is what it was called. Bobby Eaton used to do that off the top rope. And I had this theory that it's just because it was like, 250-pound Bobby Eaton, that the technique just wasn't as good. The 300-pound Hogan just off the ropes just was much more damaging.
Well, they already caught the boot to the chin, so that weakened the facial area.
Yeah. Middle class holes. Everyone, Murr, Allen, and Fox, man, sorry for taking a trip down memory lane, the old wrestling shebang. Wanted to get into this news story. Did we post this on the official Middle Class Holes Facebook page?
No, I completely forgot.
That's okay.
I did not, and I didn't really want to ruin it. I really just think that this is something that really it's so shocking. Yeah. That I think it just needs to be just rammed right in.
Okay. Here's the deal. A coworker of mine who does catch our stuff on Instagram was cackling at the buffalo wings in the vagina. And then I was like, hey, if you like that, you might like this. And we're going to talk about this tonight. And he was like, holy shit. It reads, Elon Musk agrees chess champion cheated using anal beads for comms. And that's short for communications. So the story goes, Magnus Carlsen withdrew from a $350,000 tournament. And Elon Musk says it's all about anal beads. So let's see here. The 19-year-old, I'm trying to find the goddamn guy's name. Does it really matter? The 19,
no.
Yeah. The 19-year-old champion basically pulled a move on the 31-year-old Norwegian Magnus Carlsen. It's Hans Niemann. Carlsen walks away mid-match, says, fuck it, I lose. And then apparently there's some hubbub about the conspiracy involved in this, that Neiman, the 19-year-old, had anal beads stuck in his rear end. It was receiving communications from someone who, don't know, Eagle Eye, some sort of anal bead camera that snuck out and was checking moves ahead of time. Your thoughts on the controversy of what took place here at this chess tournament? And hey, have you guys cheated on any type of exam or big project or midterm or final? Go ahead.
Alan?
I mean,
Alan's still trying to get it. He's trying to get over how anal beads equals comms.
Do chess nerds care this much?
$350,000. I will shove whatever you like up my asshole to fucking walk home with that purse.
Yeah, 6-pound bowling ball, one of the little kids ones.
Yeah, I don't know that that's enough money for that. I mean, it is for like, if we're just talking like, I guess, a standard anal bead, then sure, why not, right?
Right.
If it's going to guarantee me 350, but like, I don't know, it just seems like a wild ass conspiracy theory. I mean, good for him, I guess, if he did do it. How do we prove this? How does one prove that the anal beads were in there at the time of chessing? How does that go down?
It's a great question, but I do know that this is a legit story and not just Elon, grifting for advertising. Because I saw I saw a legitimate news organization, and I can't remember which one. They posted it on their Facebook page, and I was like, okay, so this is a real story. And it kind of goes like this, Alan. They have these vibrating beads that you can hook up to a cell phone, and so that you and your partner, you can be like, hey, ooh, you like it like that? How about a little faster? And so the insert bead. Homeboy's watching the game.
If you guys are looking for any last minute 40-year-old birthday gifts, I might have.
Because on some very reputable websites, I've actually seen couples where they're sitting at dinner and homegirl has this inserted, and homeboy's like looking over the menu like, what do you think about chicken wings? And then she's trying to she's trying to mop up her seat before the waitress comes. So anyway, somebody would be watching the game, and then as you kind of like hover your hand over a certain piece, somebody would like vibrate the shit out of that thing and be like, yep, that's the one. Do that move. Because you're a chess master. You know what each piece is supposed to do. You just don't necessarily know at the time which piece you should move at that moment. So everybody cheats, man. Tour de France, Major League Baseball, professional football, soccer players, and apparently grandmaster chess players. All cheating, because at the end of the day, that prize is too big to walk away from without an advanced edge.
Alan, you looking up something?
I'm just kind of reading through the article. Like,
yeah. Did you get to the part where it's Hiraku Nakamaru, he's a world champion blitz player who's also a good standard chess player, basically just said that he wouldn't walk out like that in a million years. He's a competitor. Something's up. That it just seems very, very odd.
Yeah. No, I was looking at that. I mean, the kid's 19 though, right? That's what that shit said.
19, yeah, and the guy he beats 31. God.
Yeah, man.
Slays me. That guy's half my age or fucking killing it.
Yeah. Maybe he's just like, maybe he's reached the pinnacle. Maybe he's on a fucking chess bender. Like, he won the world title and was like, I'm not going back. I'm not giving him, he doesn't get a rematch. He's a piece of garbage. I'm going on a fucking coke bender. And like, that's what he's doing, maybe. I don't know, man. This just seems crazy. I don't care enough about chess, I guess, to go this far for fucking chess championships. I mean, it'd be cool to be called a grandmaster or something, but not this.
I feel as though, because I read in here that they said they take extraordinary measures to stop this type of stuff, even so much so that it's a 15-minute delay on the broadcast for anyone who's watching, to where they can't, something like this can't be done. At what point is it reasonable? Like, all right, pull your pants down, spread your cheeks. Let's see what you got in there.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a radio device in your sphincter.
So did Elon just make the claim, or did somebody else claim this?
I'm willing to bet that Elon's obviously an upper tier thinker, so I'm sure he's interested in chess championships and such.
That would be good. Okay.
And you guys and your Elon hate, I swear to God.
That's all Alan.
And so
I love the guy.
I'm willing to bet that like there's chatter in the chess community that's like, well, he's been using anal beads. And I just bet it's a thing. Like PEDs in regular sports. Like, I heard a whisper that Lance Armstrong was spinning his blood and getting it repumped. Oh, that can't be true. He's just really good. Bullshit. I think all champions should be tested. All losers should be tested. Everybody. Because there's too much at stake here. I mean, what was at stake for me? When I was in high school, I never wanted to get caught, but the lengths I went to cheat were pretty grandiose. I can remember, and I've probably told this on here before, German. We had to do vocabulary words every single week. You'd only give us 5 on the test, but that's 5 out of 30. So I learned to write microscopic, and I would twist all the words up, and I would dip them down inside one of those clear Bic pens, either the black or the blue. I would take the thing out, the ink out. I would wedge the little piece of paper in there with all 30 words on it, just to where you couldn't see them underneath my hand. And that's how I passed that fucking class. 'Cause that's all we were graded on. And if I was ever to get caught, I probably would have shoved that fucker right up my meat wallet.
Mm. There's definitely no beads in there. There's a big pen with some German words.
Hey, man.
I think,
Who knew, right?
Scheiße.
More power to him. You know, good for him. I'm glad he cheated.
But don't we all cheat though? Like Wes,
Yeah.
what were your sports? Yours were what? Soccer,
basketball, track and field, baseball to an extent, but those soccer and basketball were the main ones. And then now golf.
But weren't we taught to cheat? I was. When I played soccer, I was taught to cheat. I was taught where to grab the jersey. I was taught when to stomp a toe.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught when to throw an elbow. I was taught positioning on the ref to do some of this shit. A kidney shot. I was taught all sorts of cheating moves.
Sure.
That was part of my curriculum, and we all do it. So how do you beat it?
You cheat better.
Exactly. You shove something up your ass.
The sports thing is I'm not saying it's apples to pears because this is a game, whereas performance enhancing drugs or something like that is a little bit different. Now, whether or not you want to consider a communication anal bead or something like that is a performance enhancer, I might give you that one. But I know, Christ, there was a point in Spanish class, and I took Spanish for 2 years in high school, where I got to about 2 months in year one, and I was like, all right, yeah, boy, I'm going to have to cheat in order to maintain anything. And yeah, I mean, we stole quizzes ahead of time, made photocopies of them. I had cheat sheets underneath my foot when she wasn't looking. And I mean, once we got done year two and I scraped by with nothing but B's, I remember my mom was like, "Oh, but you're not going to take a third year of Spanish?" I was like, "Oh, no,
I can't take the stress."
No mas, no mas. I remember that.
The other good one I did is I would wear a button-down shirt on test day, and I would tape a cheat sheet under like the one of the flaps on either the left or the right side,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would sit and I would kind of flip the shirt over a little bit, and if anybody walked by, just kind of hit it with my thumb and straighten my shirt back out, and then when they walked away, I'd kind of tuck it back inside out again a little bit and just look down into my lap, and that's where all the answers were.
Pretty good.
I heard
We had ties, so it added another level of one compartmentation. Like you could hide stuff in it. I literally wrote on cheap ties before, like wrote on the back of them. Like open the seam up, open it up, write stuff you need down, fold it back closed on the underside. You can flip some stuff up in your collar because you got a collared shirt on. So you flip some stuff up in your collar just to go ahead and yank that on out with a quick adjustment. Yeah, all types of good stuff. And then I'm a very good writer, so like I wrote people's papers, like at Frostburg. Like I would come up to visit, and somebody would be like, "Yo, this paper's trash. Can you fix this shit for me?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, give me like an hour." And like I don't know, go buy me some beer, and fucking I'd be like, "Here you go. Here's 1,000 more words, and it's an A now. Take it."
Yeah, I definitely did that a little bit too.
Could we collectively make money doing that, you think?
Yes.
Writing college kids' papers?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think it might technically be illegal, but either way.
Yeah, I know a poetry professor at Ohio. We could probably sabotage that shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, because I was a minor in philosophy. I know how to write a philosophy paper. That's some pretty highbrow shit that like dumbasses don't know how to fucking even attempt to tackle.
Right.
And then Alan, you're articulate as shit. I can theorize. You can write. Wes can edit. Wes can get communications class fucking tests for people.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. We should make it's like dirty work for college kids. But you say it's illegal. This is a question for our legal counsel. would it be illegal for us to perform it, or would it be illegal for them to sequester?
Pass it off and work. I don't know. That's a good question. We have to write that down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody write.
I'm talking like from a technological standpoint, like put glasses on that have fucking cameras on them, straight up Jackass style. We're out, somewhere else getting the feed, and we can see it, and we just, like, it's answer. It's number B. Number B.
Like an old school when they all react at the same time.
That's right. Yeah. We could definitely do something like that. Rent a truck.
You could definitely make some money. And especially I don't know, writing for certain topics is just fucking. I remember writing. This is no offense to anyone, because we need social workers. But I remember writing for some social workers, and I was like, "This is fucking. Is this sophomore year of high school? All right, well, let's write it up. This isn't hard. This isn't hard at all. Why don't you just throw me a couple citations in there for good measure? We're fucking here. Take it. Beat it. Get out of my fucking office."
There was Alan.
We can make money.
I wrote a paper for a mutual friend of ours when I was teaching out of college, and she was in college. She's like, "Hey, look, I can't do this." And while my students were doing work, I was typing this paper on my laptop, and someone was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm typing the paper for someone in college." Like, "Wait, but you're doing that for someone in college?" Yeah, I'm doing that. For what? Like, to get laid, man.
Something you're not going to experience for another 3 years. Now beat it.
Scoot.
You're gonna let me see your. So
yeah.
I'm writing this paper on the French Revolution.
Right.
I don't really care about it.
Oh, let me see here. Yeah, I think we can move on to Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday, you say?
That's right. Let's get to it.
It's 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Would we like to perform any intro music for Fun Fact Friday this week?
Love Shack, man.
The Love Shack.
Good
The
one.
B-52s. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, the Love Shack. Okay. All right. Here we go. Coming down for Fun Fact Friday in 3, 2, 1. Fun facts. Baby, fun facts. Fun facts. They're not life hacks. Let's get down to brass tacks with 5 fun little facts for you. I've got some information for you, so let's get to it on a Fun Fact Friday. They're fun facts, fun little facts for your information. They're fun facts, baby. Fun facts, baby. Fun facts. They're not life hacks. Fun facts, baby. Fun facts. Say what? Jim Splints. Recovery group.
Hey.
Fun facts. Okay, there we go. Let's get to it, my friends. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know Kellogg's Corn Flakes and graham crackers were originally developed to curb sexual urges?
It wasn't for breakfast. Wasn't for fulfillment in the morning.
No, it was for the lack of fulfillment in the morning.
Something and graham crackers. What was the first thing?
Cornflakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes and graham crackers were originally developed to curb sexual urges. Now, one of the Kellogg brothers was a doctor, and he worked in an insane asylum, and he found that most insane people like to jerk off all the time. So he was like, maybe if I just feed them bland foods, they'll have bland sexual desires. And so they came up with the Kellogg's Corn Flakes, and Dr. Graham had the same premonition about graham crackers.
I can't imagine the Reefer Madness ad for that. Like, man, do you wake up in the morning with morning wood? Well, get yourself down to the kitchen and fill up a bowl of graham crackers and cornflakes. That'll take care of that. And get your ass to work and provide for your family.
How many wives got fucking smacked with a rolling pin for coming home with a box of graham crackers? Stuart, I think you should have a box of these.
So I wondered, like, I mean, that can't, that didn't sustain, right?
No. The only reason I know this is because the History Channel did like a whole series of like foods that build America, and so Dr. Kellogg's brother was like, these cornflakes. I see it doesn't have anything to do with being horny, but everybody seems to love them. So he started marketing them. They had a big falling out. Dr. Kellogg kicked him out of the family. He still went and fucking branded it, and then made more money than his brother did as a doctor, fucking selling cornflakes.
I like that. Also, I'm trying to think of like the time frame here too, and not that 100% matters, but I'm thinking about not too far recent history, you know, dating back to like the early 1900s and even the 1800s, where a lot of people's jobs were to like curb sexual appetite. Like, oh, you're a hellion if you know, and I get it. I understand it. But even back then, it was like, you think that way, you're going to hell. Oh, you fuck like that, you're going to hell. Oh, you shouldn't fuck that much. And at a certain point, they were like, Jesus Christ, they won't listen. They just keep jerking off and fucking.
and some of them just do it out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me I can't do it, I'll do it more.
They should have sent fucking cornflakes and graham crackers to colleges. That would have been the thing to do.
Yeah, I often wonder how much different this country would be if we didn't have like this. I don't know. Sometimes I think the Puritanism might have been a help in some way. Like it made us rebel in good ways and probably kept us in check in some good ways as well. Could you imagine how much just like debauchery the American culture would have been involved in if there were just no fucking rules? There was no threat of like eternal damnation. Yeah, we'd have been this thing wouldn't have lasted. We wouldn't have lasted this long. We got we're coming up on 250. I don't think we would have made it that far.
There's got to be some tapering. You're absolutely right. And Dennis Leary had a really good bit about this. He was talking about wearing bell bottoms. He was like, here we were in the middle of a sexual revolution, wearing clothing that guaranteed us not to get laid. The ultimate yin and the yang.
Did you know in 1919? An exploding storage tank flooded the streets of Boston with a wave of molasses 15 feet high. You can look this up on Wikipedia. It's called the Great Molasses Massacre.
Jesus. Anyone die?
Yeah. I know you think molasses moves at a slow pace.
About
when you've got when you've got an entire water fucking tower filled with sticky, gooey delightfulness just come crashing down. Yeah, it's like Pompeii in fucking slow motion.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
You've heard of that?
Yeah, I've actually heard of this. Then it didn't sound pleasant.
Did you have like a great uncle that got burnt as a result, or it's like
no? Believe it or not, my family isn't from here. Wesley, the molasses flood in Boston, Massachusetts, was not really a problem for my kin, but I've heard tell of such a thing in history.
Yeah, Alan, you're absolutely right. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. 21 deaths, 150 injured, and no mention of anyone from the Giannis family within this Wikipedia page. Yeah.
We just missed. We had just hopped on a boat back to Nicaragua.
Right. I see. Breen, Brogan, Cloggerty, Callahan, Di Sacito, Duffy, Francis, Galadrina.
The Giannis clan sold their house to a couple of Irishmen. It just rolled on into town. We kind of knew that.
Yeah,
we were warned of a molasses meltdown approaching.
Did it happen to be Peter Shaughnessy? He was a teamster. That was his occupation.
That was the guy. Yep, that was him. Pete Shaughnessy, old Gramps called him.
Yeah, funny. Well, he was an 18-year-old teamster, so it's
well, yeah. Life was rough back then, and you didn't live that long, especially when you can be killed by molasses in the streets.
It's the kind of bright-eyed kid you sell a fucking house to in Molasses Alley.
I like to show the discrepancy of this. Peter Shaughnessy, 18 teamster, died in this, and then Michael Sinnott, 78 messenger, also perished in the Great Molasses Flood.
Dude, check this out though. Okay, it was what 12,000 tons of molasses caused a wave 25 feet high, moving at 35 miles an hour.
Jesus. There's no running. Get your surfboard.
So fast for something so thick.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. This also reminds. I see. This is on a consider your source thing, but it's like August 11th, 1903. The A's were visiting Boston. I'm assuming this is Philadelphia because the A's were in Philly then. Then playing at Old Huntington Avenue grounds at the plate in seventh inning. Rube Waddell, colorful southpaw pitcher for the A's, was known. Blah, 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 blah. Passing. Hold on. So a foul ball went over the right field bleachers and landed on the roof of a baked bean cannery next door. The ball came to rest in the steam whistle of the factory, which began to go off. As it was not quitting time, workers thought it was an emergency and abandoned their post. A short while later, a giant cauldron containing a ton of beans boiled over and exploded, showering the Boston ballpark with scalding beans. So, when was the molasses flood? 1919. I mean, it's 1903. So, within 18 years is a bean disaster and then a molasses disaster. Poor town.
And everybody knows. Yeah, everybody knows you don't get really tasty baked beans without a little molasses too. So
That's
I
right.
think yeah. The molasses is the key here.
I read that fact on some it's like a fun fact baseball calendar that my mom got me when I was a teenager, and that's the only one out of the entire year that stuck with me because I sat a young Wesley howled at that fact, just thinking about someone eating popcorn, enjoying themselves. Like, what the hell? What the? Oh!
Well, everybody gives OSHA a hard time, but has anyone been killed by molasses in 100 years? I think not.
That's a very
probably
sound
not.
point.
That's a lie. There's some guy fell into a vat of it and fucking died.
They were fucking around. They were probably breaking the drug policy at that point.
He
It was
became
more inconvenient at the time. They were like, "Fuck! Now we got to drain this big ass tub of molasses out. Fucking brutal. Get Jimmy's body out of there. It's fucking killing us."
Just melt that, package it up, and get it out. Jimmy's part of the molasses.
Did you know in the U.S., the typical school year is 180 days? In China, it's 251 days.
I didn't 251. I seem to remember when I was a kid it was like 230. Now have they extended that? Probably. Does it shock me? No, I did not know 250. I thought it was like 232, somewhere between 230 and 235. But again, that's when I was in school because teachers would regularly show us charts like China, Japan, Norway, other, and us being like 40 or 50th. I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. They're dumb. They need to learn more. We're fucking smart. We know how to do it here. We get it done.
And now a generation or two later, it's like, nope, we're idiots.
We're dumb. We are monumentally dumb.
Yeah.
If a molasses disaster happened in Baltimore, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I'd get a mop. I don't know, a strong bristled broom.
Well, first you sell your house to an Irishman. Just get on out of it.
Right. Is your last name Shaughnessy? Hey, look at this joint.
Hey, O'Hallahan, get over here.
But hold on. 251 days in a year. So wait, there's 52 weeks in a year. And if you multiply it, so weekends, so what? 365 minus 104. What do you get here? You get
holidays.
261. Yeah, but that means they only have 10 extra days off besides Saturday, Sunday. If you're looking at an American style calendar.
Holidays. Think about that, man. Christmas. I mean, I don't know what China, what do China celebrate? I probably could have used some more schooling. What did China celebrate?
Dragons.
Tigers.
Rats. I think rats are on there.
Monkeys.
What else is on the calendar?
That's a good point.
Dogs.
Huh. I mean,
they
do
definitely
they
don't
not
celebrate these all in a year.
Okay. Do they not celebrate Christmas?
I don't think so.
I'm sure Christian Chinese people do, but
But I'm sure they celebrate it in their basement away from windows and the Gestapo that's fucking roaming the streets, so they're not fucking burned in effigy in the street.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Are Christians persecuted like that in China?
I'm pretty sure they are. You know, I mean definitely don't.
Fair play to the people persecuting the Christians. I get it, but it's fucking. I didn't know that was the thing. I know they don't worry. I know they don't like Muslim Chinese people. I know that's a big thing. They're not a fan.
I'd like to meet
but
them.
If it wasn't for the Uyghur Muslims, there wouldn't be any wigs to be sold in the inner cities. So you're welcome.
Yeah,
fine, straight Chinese persecution hair.
Yeah, that's true.
You're welcome, America. Did you know? I almost read the same fact again. In 1912, it cost $7 million to build the Titanic. And in 1997, $200 million to make a film about it.
Well, I mean, you know, James Cameron. I mean, that guy runs a hefty price.
Yeah. I mean, they built like damn near a full-size replica to crack in half, and then they CGI'd the rest of it. Like, seriously, I want to know how long the replica they built in a giant studio. I want to how long was that on film? And you know that costs millions of dollars to build.
Hold on. Say, what are you asking again? How long did it take to build the replica?
So they built like a replica of the Titanic to film scenes on.
Yeah, and they also didn't they have like a literal, it was like a massive like mile long pool.
Yeah. And so
they had one of those giant downstage pools.
Yeah.
So the question I have is like, how much video footage of that ginormous thing that they spent millions of dollars to build? How long was that on screen?
I mean, what's Titanic? 2 hours and 20 minutes ish.
Probably, maybe longer. Who knows?
You know, I mean, 17, 18 minutes, maybe.
Let's see. Okay,
total.
I'm gonna do an inflation calculator here. So we're gonna go 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 7 million. It would cost. I just want to see if it's close.
Close to what?
Yeah.
Like one of like the massive like ocean liners that they build today?
Just to see if like it cost about like, because they kind of just throw it out there, like it cost $7 million to make the Titanic back then, and it cost $200 million to make the film. In fact, if you do an inflation calculator, it would have cost the exact same amount of money. It cost the same amount of money to build the Titanic as it did to shoot the film.
I was going to say, and you know, 7 million in 19. Well, they probably built it in 1911, then it sailed in 1912. But $7 million. You say that to the layperson, their people's minds exploded. You talk about the Great Molasses disaster. There was probably more deaths when people found out how much a fucking Titanic cost. Like,
I mean, you were paying motherfuckers like nickels.
Yeah,
like you were paying like steam work, like iron workers, like a quarter every week.
But if you really calculate it, the film was much more successful than the actual ship.
That's true.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
I'm trying to get the Allure of the Sea. Allure of the Seas is the largest cruise ship right now. And
if you have a picture, I want to see that thing, because I've
that cost $1.5 billion. Picture Allure of the Sea.
Yeah, but it's probably got like a roller coaster and like a fucking
you're right.
hospital. That's different.
Okay, hold on here.
I don't think that's a good comparison.
You're right. Yes, they didn't have these fucking back.
Jesus
God. Look at that fucking thing, dude. It's a fucking. I wouldn't even get on something like this.
They got two rock climbing things right here.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find. Ooh, look. I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
I don't even need to be on that ever.
Wow. I will say this. It's amazing.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't want to fucking be on any kind of a vessel with that many people.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. Free will, bro.
Yeah. That just sounds terrible.
I mean, I know that not all the seas are as deadly as like the Bering Sea when you're watching Deadliest Catch, but like I cannot imagine that thing taking like any wave to the side and staying afloat and staying upright.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. Yeah. No, I mean these things have like stabilizers and shit now. They're fancy.
Yeah.
But no, still. Yeah, like I wouldn't want to fucking go down on a ship with like a bunch of cruise people.
Here's the second largest. It's called Oasis of the Sea. Look at this sucker. The whole amphitheater here with some high diving.
The Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Side by side, go back up real quick.
Okay. Which one do you need to click on?
Right, up one to the left. Is that a side by side of the two of them? Jesus.
Good God Almighty!
Yeah, go ahead, blow that up. Let's take a look at that bad boy.
Dude, that's just...
They were like, oh, you thought our Oasis was cool? Check out this Allure. Suck our dicks.
Yeah.
Look at how big that fucking thing is.
You imagine... What I have trouble with is, listen, I have trouble parallel parking my Hyundai Veloster from time to time. I can't imagine being, like, behind the wheel of that. I'd shit a brick. I'm like, all right, man, just park.
Well, look, like they don't even pull into ports really. Like the ports just make big sidewalks for their fucking human fucking cargo to come out on. Like they're just like, here, park it out there in the fucking ocean because it's a goddamn city. What are we gonna do with this thing?
If you want to get lost on YouTube for a while, look up like ships running ashore compilations.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
They're just like you just hear foghorns, and then all of a sudden it's just a slow crashing, crunching sound.
So you know,
it's like fucking 50 million tons. Just
I want to show you this. This is the last thing, and then I'll get you to like one cool story. So these here are two of these ships just like chilling. This is where captains be like, you know what, our guests aren't having enough fun. We're gonna bring these boats together and we're gonna get silly and. Whatever STDs we have on this ship, we're going to give them to you and vice versa.
I'm just looking at those two ships, and then I'm looking at the destination behind it.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you the population of those two ships is like 4 times that of whatever inhabitants are on that fucking island chain right there. You
know, a friend of ours, Alan, I think you've met him, Murr, you've met him a number of times, had the opportunity to be a golf instructor on one of these. Now... The salary would have been dick, but it would have been free room and board. And it would have been like a simulator within there with a pro shop, which sold some stuff, but mostly like club repair. And then he would take people out to these extravagant golf courses and show them around and be their fourth. Like 3 fucking old haggard motherfuckers, and he would be the 4th person and, you know, like, oh, let's play some golf.
Wait, no salary?
No, there was a salary, but it was like $25,000, $26,000, $27,000 a year.
That's still like if you don't have to feed yourself or have a place to live, like that's like $50,000-$60,000 a year.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think he was in his early to mid 20s. I was like, dude, do it for a couple of years. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's not bad. It probably does kind of suck.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you're that age and you're halfway good looking and you've got a dude, just hang them and bang them. Talk about shanking it.
You like woods? You like shafts? Okay.
You got a few balls I'd like to show you.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, we've talked about this leading up to this week. This is before you go. This is our next good, bad movie review. And Alan takes it away with, nonetheless, the Carrot Top film known as something. I forget.
It's not even fair to call this a good, bad movie review. This is just a bad movie review. And I apologize for getting us involved in this. I apologize for getting myself involved in it. Like, yeah. I thought it was going to be a funny haha. Like, ha, Carrot Top's movie. It's just so bad. Oh, boy. Is it bad, guys? So, here's the thing. It's basically like Tommy Boy, but if you kind of switch some roles up. So like his father didn't leave him the company. A random man he found on like the side of the road.
Right.
Fucking,
who was smitten with his inventions. He's like, yeah,
who
look
like
at that.
who like loves his inventions. He thinks he's ingenious. Played by the great Jack Warden,
who also surfs.
Yeah, who's a big surfer. Carrot Top and his two roommates are surfers as well. So it all comes full circle. Basically, like 20 minutes. First of all, the movie's an hour and a half, and it was probably the most torturous hour and a half on ever. But I digress. We get back to it. Fucking. So he needs to make rent. He's getting fucking chased out of his apartment with his roommates because he's been spending money on all of his zany inventions. Like a Slurpee cup that with a heater so you don't get brain freeze.
The baseball bat that has the nut scratcher attached to it.
The baseball bat has the nut scratch. Like, first of all, you open on this motherfucker with like a baby Carrot Top in a fake womb making inventions. And so, I mean, just really sets the tone going into it. But like I said, it's basically Tommy Boy with a couple things moved around, right? He inherits this company. Fucking guy who thought he was supposed to inherit the company, very upset. He's played by Larry Miller, I believe.
Yes.
Classic 90s like comedic bad guy. So great casting there, not gonna lie. Courtney Thorne-Smith plays like the scorned woman executive who's definitely not gonna ever really get the job that she wants because she's a woman, right? And it's 1994. And Larry Miller, right? So Larry Miller goes to sabotage Carrot Top as he's making inventions and losing money because of course, the loophole is if Carrot Top lets the stock share drop to below $20, he loses the whole thing, right? So in this world that has been created around Carrot Top, set in California, glow in the dark doesn't exist. So Edison, Carrot Top, creates glow in the dark. And it's fucking revolutionary, right? Like, literally, they couldn't think of a fucking fake invention to give Carrot Top, who makes inventions. They were like, we're just going to create a world where glow-in-the-dark anything doesn't exist, and then you're going to make it. He makes it. Larry Miller gets his hands on it. I don't even remember that character's fucking name. Fucking, he ends up giving it to some guy who fucking covers himself with it and claims that one of Carrot Top's other inventions, which is a TV/TV dinner. It's a TV dinner with a TV. Anyway, get the point. So the TV dinner causes excessive amounts of radiation, and the guy covers himself with glow in the dark, and he's like, see, I'm fucking irradiated. And then Carrot Top ultimately debunks that. Fucking Larry Miller doesn't get the company. Fucking Carrot Top keeps the company, but then he hands it over to Courtney Thorne-Smith because obviously there was a love thing there. Who really cares?
Also, wasn't there a part where, and this is based upon my Cliff Notes version, where on YouTube where if you hit the forward button, it'll go forward 5 seconds. I watched the entire movie while kind of simultaneously doing that and catching tidbits here and there. Wasn't there a part where Larry Miller is wearing one of his inventions where if he lies, he farts? And he was telling lies and then farting in front of the entire board. Like, see, he's lying. He's lying.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. That happen. Oh, I almost forgot the most important part. The Bo Derek was Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch was Armand's wife, and she was kind of like leading Larry Miller's character on that. She'd give him the Raquel Welch booty if he got the company back. He didn't get the company back, obviously, so he didn't get Raquel Welch booty. But Carrot Top got Courtney Thorne-Smith booty. So I guess waiting for Carrot Top.
And then they continued to rent out Carrot Top's mom's house, the seaside beach house.
It wasn't her mom though.
It wasn't his mom.
What, the original, like the place that they needed rent money for to begin with?
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was Carrot Top's mom.
Do we really need to get caught in this detail? I mean, is this really an important factor in what we're discussing here?
It's also like, hold on, but the funny thing is that she has one of those like voice modulators that she puts up to her throat.
It's Estelle Harris. Estelle Harris plays their landlord,
and all it is just like a more voice boxy version of Estelle Harris.
Estelle Harris.
You are a bunch of losers who need money.
Yeah, basically. So terrible. But hey, all right. So while we're at it, take a guess, guys. What was the score on Rotten Tomatoes?
I thought it was it 9?
16%.
Ooh, so close. 13%. And it's got a 2.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah. I did actually read a few of the user or non-critic reviews. Yeah, and someone just said Christ, who's the comedian that we talked about on Conan?
Norm
McDonald?
Yeah, it's like Norm Macdonald was right. That was it. That was the critique. That was the
Dude,
that was
the funniest
criticism.
part of Chairman of the Board is the Norm Macdonald skit on SNL about it. Or on fucking Conan about it.
It's like, Chairman,
Like,
board. It's spelled Bored.
it's just so fucking bad, man. Oh God. I don't know why I did that to myself. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
like,
that's all right.
I was like, it's gonna be funny, and it wasn't. Like, I couldn't. And when I was watching it, I was like, this is just Tommy Boy.
Right.
They just moved a couple pieces around.
It's like Tommy Boy and the Pest with John Leguizamo. Kind of like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I could see that.
Can you believe that John Leguizamo had a career after that movie?
After the Pest?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pull yourself out of the fucking molasses from the streets of Boston to salvage an acting career.
What kind of a C-list fucking Larry Miller and Raquel Welch fucking like evil couple is that? Like Adam Sandler, or not fucking Adam, but like Chris Farley and David Spade could pull fucking Bo Derek and fucking Rob Lowe.
Right.
And then the Carrot Top cast was like, so who's our Bo Derek, guys? Raquel Welch. We got it. Bring her in here.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like
So bad.
E. Emmett Welsh, Bill Irwin, Jack Warren. I mean, that's kind of like a murder. And that guy, was it the guy he kills in the beginning when he shoots open all the bees? Taylor, I think it's Negron. He's he's one of the bad guys in The Last Boy Scout. I mean, you got some heavy hitters in here.
You made even a more obscure reference than fucking Chairman of the Board there. Yeah, I mean, there are some heavy hitter, like, old guys. That's right. Jack McGee.
I see Jack McGee, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, heavy hitter old guys, but, I mean, they were in a Carrot Top film.
Right. So Scott, Carrot Top Thomas. So, Murr, I mean, you've been pretty quiet throughout this. Did you not watch it?
I watched it 30 years ago and knew that there was no point in subjecting myself to this again. And when Alan brought it up as his movie that he was going to review, I knew that this was a bad movie. And a good bad movie is a movie that has been ranked poorly, yet is enjoyable and entertaining. There's nothing enjoyable or entertaining about Chairman of the Board.
I really thought, like, from my memories, I was like, oh, I remember that being a zany fucking thrill ride of a comedy. Nope. Wrong.
Right.
I was very wrong. It was neither zany nor a thrill ride nor a comedy.
I saw the movie poster I was going to watch it. And then when I saw the movie poster of
like, no.
Like Carrot Top flying through the air, like with this fucking look on his face. It's like, nope, we're done here. This is like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We are not doing this.
Like a studio greenlit that union fucking film workers like went to a set and fucking turned cameras on and fucking held boom mic, like a whole ecosystem of humans.
Yep.
Got paid off of this piece of absolute garbage.
Carrot Top was at the top of his game at the time.
Pun intended.
Yes. He was absolutely on top of the world. He was doing every late night show there was to do. And they were like, we got to give this guy a movie. And they probably let him write it.
I think he was, yes, he is. I think he is a co-writer and like executive producer, maybe.
Oh, boy.
So, like all the creative influence was really going to take this one to the top.
Yeah. Hey, so are we done with this?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did have a comment when I was debating with a 9/11 truther who did say, hey, just saw your channel. You guys are really funny. I like it. Very entertaining. Love the good, bad movies. Made me laugh. I'm a huge fan of Jaws. Jaws 2, 3, 4. No. Was there a 5? I saw one at the theater when I was 5 or 6. For 2 years, I was terrified of going into the beach, which was at Lake Erie. Just subscribe. Can't wait to watch more. So, Murr, congratulations on that one 2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So
Score one for the dumb bald guy.
Murr, you are next. By the way, we'll get you, I don't know, like 3 weeks' time. So think about it. Let us know what good, bad movie you have.
Hey, you got any ideas brewing up there?
Yeah, right. What do you got?
I really don't you kind of derailed me on your choice, so I wanted to see how this went.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few ideas in mind, but see, again, I picked Jaws as a good bad movie because it should be a bad movie, but it turned out to be a good movie, a great movie, a classic film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks' time.
All right.
Chairman of the board is now.
Alan, tell the kiddos and the kidettes where you can find the middle class holes.
Oh, you can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook and TikTok. And for your listening pleasure, please check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's right. All right.
Oh,
yeah.
Did we get any emails? We got any emails? I don't even remember. I don't even remember the last time I read it out. Tickle our tummies at gmail.com. Send us emails.
No, we're good.
They'll come rolling in here like molasses. Amen. All right, folks. We'll catch you next week. It's my birthday. Have a good one.